This is TechCrunch. David Ashton grew up outside of Sacramento, and he went to college in San Luis Obispo during the historic drought of the late 2000s. He spent years driving that 300-mile stretch between Sacramento and San Luis Obispo, enthralled by the never-ending lettuce farms, acres of leafy green plants against a bleak, dry background. The fact that these lush green crops were grown in drought conditions to be shipped to other parts of the country stuck with Ashton, and it later became the inspiration for his robotic farming startup, Canopii, which looks to shrink produce supply chains. Portland, Oregon-based Canopii builds robotic greenhouses that can autonomously run the whole crop-growing process from seeding to harvest without human intervention. These greenhouses can produce up to 40,000 pounds of produce a year while requiring only one spigot of water and taking up the same space as a basketball court. The farms are manufactured by GK Designs and are currently designed to grow herbs and specialty greens like baby bok choy and gai lan, a Chinese broccoli. Ashton told TechCrunch that he started really sowing the seeds for Canopii after the Portland-based ag tech company he was set to work at filed for bankruptcy while he was driving up the coast to move there. He worked on the plans at night while his wife was in medical school. After 3 years, he applied for a $250,000 grant from the National Science Foundation to build a prototype of his vision. After that was successful, he applied for a $1 million grant to build a full-scale prototype. He said, 5 years later, we've hit a major milestone for the farm. We have an autonomous farm that grows everything from seed to harvest without any human intervention, and we did so with a very small team and very little capital, which I think is very different from what the rest of the industry had experienced. The company has raised approximately $3.6 million so far, with $2.3 million of that largely from grants and the rest from strategics. Ashton is aware of what many investors and VCs think about the indoor farming category. The once hot sector saw companies like Bowery Farming and Plenty raise hundreds of millions of dollars before going bankrupt and before seeing any strong success. He argues their product is fundamentally different than vertical farms and that the company's decision to move intentionally slow and without venture capital has allowed them to avoid many of those same hurdles. Ashton said, "The capital stack has to be diversified beyond VC. We're 5 now, and we're still just iterating on one farm, which has allowed us to learn so much. I think if we got VC right away and we try to scale after year 1 or 2, that's not possible with food infrastructure." The company has gotten inbound interest from schools, restaurants, casinos, and others. Now that the company has hit its automation milestone, it looks to build out its first commercial farm in downtown Portland. Down the line, Canopii plans to franchise these farms in the future and, yes, raise venture capital once it's ready. Ashton said, "We can mass produce it like a car. I think a big achievement on this farm is that the whole thing runs off 100 amps and 240 volts. That's house power. You can literally put this in a backyard. And that speaks to the level of resource management that we've reached in this farm." Legora, an AI platform for lawyers, is now valued at more than $5.5 billion following a $550 million Series D set to fuel its growth in the U.S. That is despite growing competition from rival Harvey, but also with Microsoft Copilot and generalist large language models. Publicly listed legal software companies saw their stocks drop when Anthropic unveiled a legal plugin for Claude. Legora is built on top of LLMs and mostly on Claude, but its positioning as a platform that supports lawyers with complex cases gives CEO Max Junstrand some peace of mind. "It's amazing that everybody can have their own pocket lawyer in Claude, but we're not solving for the same use case," he said via a live stream at the Tech Arena conference in Stockholm. With a focus on embedding itself into its clients' workflows, Legora's platform is now used by 800 law firms and legal teams, and investors took note. Its Series D was led by Accel, with participation from existing investors Benchmark, Bessemer, General Catalyst, Iconic, Redpoint Ventures, and Y Combinator, and some new backers as well. There are other signs that investors are bullish about AI legal tech. Legora's Series D and valuation jump come just a few months after its October $150 million Series C round, led at a $1.8 billion valuation. Its competitor, Harvey, which is backed by Andreessen Horowitz, is already valued at $8 billion and is now reportedly seeking to raise at an $11 billion valuation. According to Deal Room, they are also on almost identical trajectories with regard to revenue. Both are also branching out globally. Harvey is pushing hard into Europe and Legora in the opposite direction. The company is now headquartered in New York and keen to keep on pushing into the U.S. market, where its growth exceeded its expectations coming out of Europe. In addition to New York and Stockholm, Legora has offices in Bangalore, London, and Sydney, with more to follow. Alongside its Series D, Legora announced it would open offices in Houston and Chicago, with plans to open additional local hubs and grow to more than 300 employees across its U.S. offices by the end of this year. That's all for now. To find more stories like these, go to TechCrunch.com.